Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be the Boys Season 2, Episode 6 review. Let's get into it. This episode is titled The Bloody Doors Off. And one of the themes is thank you for being a friend. The Golden Boy, I said the Golden Boy, the Golden Girls theme song from back in the day with their series. Now you have the boys, Butcher, Huey, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, all working on the lead they received about Vought's mysterious Sage Grove Center. And so they arrive there, and of course now they have Starlighter. They have her there for assistance. So you have Butcher and Starlighter. It's basically been going at each other the whole time, and he doesn't really trust her too much. She thinks he's more like he's a version of Homelander. He's not all that good. So, they got a little back and forth the whole episode pretty much. And so we get back to that. But then it goes to A-Train is pretty much, he's not feeling that they writing him off. You don't know what's going to happen with his character. You just know he's not feeling it. He's going along with it for right now because of his fear of Homelander pretty much, but he's pretty much he's eventually going to get replaced. So the Deep shows up, and his ties the Queen's Maeve in order for her to help him get back into the Seven. She wanted him to go to the bottom of the ocean and find a black box. And when he went in the bottom of the ocean to find the black box, he didn't find it. All he found was a GoPro camera that actually someone was filming of when Homelander and her was up on a plane, and he pretty much was, Homelander didn't save the people. His evilness, showing his evil side and letting the people die in the plane. So the Deep was walking around, seeing A-Train, and offered to help A-Train and offered him a fresca. So they in return end up A-Train seeing, before he left, he seen Stormfront, and she doesn't like black people, so she gave him a look and he gave her a look, but he couldn't really put his finger on it. He just looked at, well, why is she looking at me funny or whatever. So he went with the Deep, and the Deep is with his like psychiatrist type guy, and he wants to vent how A-Train always like clowned him and really never respected him and stuff like that. And then the guy was pretty much, he knows everything about A-Train, and basically said, I can help you, but you gotta be willing to sit here and let the Deep vent out his frustrations with you. So that was pretty much the end of the episode for them right there. So then you had Stormfront and Homelander. Now, to Stormfront, it's just another fling. That's what it comes off with her intimacy with Homelander. It's just another fling. Meanwhile, Homelander has not really had good relationships with people. So it seems like he don't know how to read people too well. So he can't see that she ain't really that into him. She just into what he could do. So on the set, he pretty much tells her, hey, come back to my trailer. I got something for you. But she got to make a move. So she said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Now, he's not used to that. He used to, when he tells somebody something, they do it pronto. And he's not used to somebody just brushing him off pretty much. So he, in return, said, okay, but you could tell he felt some type way. inside his trailer, you seen that he had a vase full of roses for her. And so you like, oh, he got puppy love, type situation going on. And then from there, you didn't know where she was on her way to. So you find out that she's on her way to the Sage Grove Center, and where the boys are, and they seen her arrive. So the boys split up. They let Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Kumiko go into the facility, and Huey, Butcher, and Starlight stayed out. They wanted to keep Starlight out because she would be noticeable and recognizable, and then they'd know what she's up to. So of course, people back at the set is looking for her, but of course they can't find her because she's AWOL. So at the beginning of the episode, Starlight, Frenchie removed the tracking device out of Starlight or whatever. So I don't know if they got more than one, but for right now, you just think that they can't track her now. So inside the facility, they got their like uniforms, like they're like the nurses or the staff on, and they get into the security booth, and they find out that Vought's running this facility and has a whole bunch of supers inside of this facility. Then it shows a familiar face, Lamplighter, who used to be part of the Seven, and they do a backstory of 7 years ago. Lamplighter was in the Seven, but he was working with Mallory, and she was working with the boys where he would give them intel of everything. She put Frenchie onto him. To tell him, and then in the process of Frenchie telling him, he got a call from one of his friends who were like junkies, and it was like three of them, and one of them was overdosing, and he came there to help him. Meanwhile, he missed Lamplighter, and tracking him. So Lamplighter was supposed to go and kill Mallory, but instead it was kids. And so that's the backstory of that. And nobody knew. Everybody always fought at Frenchie that, hey, you let him kill those kids, but he really didn't let him kill them. He wasn't there because he went to go help a friend. So from there, they see these supers, and they use Lamplighter to get rid of the evidence. So Lamplighter's powers is like Pyro from X-Men, and Pyro's powers, basically he takes a lighter and he can manipulate fire and like brush it out like a great deal. The ironic is, back in those X-Men movies, Lamplighter played as Iceman, and his adversary was Pyro, and so now he's playing as a character that's like Pyro. So that was like the ironic thing of the whole backstory with that. But nevertheless, they use Lamplighter. He's not in the Seven no more. They kicked him out because when he burned them kids, and he fries the supers that are not successful. So Stormfront comes in, and Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and Kimiko is all upset. They're fuming. Frenchie is fuming at Lamplighter, and Kimiko is fuming for Stormfront. And it shows him on a video. He's frying one of the supers in there. So what the Vought is doing is they're trying to take regular people and give them Compound V, and so that they could take it without having the effects. Now, Compound V, they normally give it to children so that they can grow up and naturally embrace the superpower, whatever the superpower is. But when they give it to adults, what seems to happen is majority of adults that take it, as soon as they try to use their power, they explode. So it's not good. So they're trying to find a way to stabilize it. So what happens is get all the information out of the Sage Grove Center, and now they on their way out, and they've been trying to tell everybody like maintain yourself. So Stormfront leaves at first, and on their way out, they walk past Lamplighter, and Frenchie and Lamplighter catch each other eye contact, and it becomes a big thing. So Frenchie snaps and pretty much blows the cover. He wants to fight Lamplighter, and then there's um, a showdown between the two. And then what happens is Lamplighter tries to shoot his fire off, but they move out the way, and he end up blowing open one of the doors of the facility. And one of the doors he opened was one of the strong supers who is basically embracing their power, and her power is telekinesis. She can looks like she can manipulate metal, and she can float on air like Magneto, like a female Magneto in a sense. So she comes out and she breaks open the doors of all the people, all the other supers. So now all the supers are running around the whole facility, killing all the staff, and now they're running. And then Lamplighter pretty much they follow behind him into a room. Now Frenchie and him have it out, and then that's when you find out more of the backstory, that he was supposed to be working with the boys on the cover, and then he was going to kill Mallory, but it was end up being the kids. And so they find out that he didn't know that he didn't intentionally just burn kids. It was supposed to be Mallory. He just opened up wherever it was supposed to be and just fried. And then it wasn't until he heard the kids' voices that he knew it was kids, and it's been bothering him ever since. So he's kind of like remorseful of what he did. So you have that going on, Frenchie, and then you find out the backstory with Frenchie, why he wasn't there. And now the main telekinesis female Magneto woman, I don't even know her name. I don't even know if they gave her. They did give her a name, but I can't remember what her name was. But she's pretty much wiped everybody out and was getting to confront Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Kumiko, and Stormfront comes in and fries her. So you think she's dead at the moment, but you see she at the end of the episode, she's out walking on the highway. Meanwhile, you got Butcher and Huey and Starlight out waiting for the rest of them, trying to tell them that y'all need to come on. So Huey is left in a car in a van, and Butcher and Starlight is having it out, and then a super appears, and pretty much they're like, hey man, just go about your business. But he looks at them funny, and then his power is he can make an explosion like out of like a like impact, like make a big gust of like powerful wind explode out. So that's pretty much what he did, and they end up killing him, but not before he knocked the van over 3 or 4 times. It flipped over, and then when they went into the van, Butcher and Starlight got a chance to see that Huey was injured with a metal piece inside of him. So Starlight her powers is she couldn't use them because she needs some type of power source to run off of. So they end up on a highway. They flag down this car, and tell the guy, hey, we need a ride. We need to just take your car. And then Butcher's pretty much like, yo, I'm the FBI. And the guy like, nah, I want to see your let me see your badge. And they say, hey, it went over in the car. We need your help. And so the guy grabs his gun. He has his gun on Butcher and Starlight. And of course, Huey's injured. Starlight, dude, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. So Starlight ended up having to use her powers to defuse the guy. His gun drops, and then when she goes over to check him, he's dead. And so she got a chance to see that. Like he was like probably like a normal family man, but he still pulled out a gun on her. So she was in the back seat with Huey, and then um, Butcher kind of like gave respect to her, like, you really down for Huey, you down for the cause. So then her and Butcher had a back and forth, and she's like, I'm not like you, you're more like Homelander, and but nevertheless, she was still upset that she had to use her powers to kill somebody innocent, but for the greater good of the team. So they got to the hospital, got Huey in the hospital, and they pretty much was having like a bonding moment, because of Huey, and they was pretty much saying like Huey doesn't deserve either of us because we both got some evil parts about us. So you don't know what's going to transpire with that, but nevertheless, you had Stormfront who reappeared and wanted to see who's there. So they had Lamplighter came up pretty much was like, hey man, everybody, what happened? And he told her a bogus story and basically said everybody's been fried all over. And Stormfront was pretty much like, hey man, get this stuff cleaned up or whatever. So he lied for the boys, and so she went about her business. And then when they reached out to the head of the boys, Mallory, she shows up, and she's the female that Butcher keeps contacting, and she shows up and she wants to kill Lamplighter, but because she was like, you went rogue, you went against us, and she was crying. She was like, I gotta kill him. He killed the kids. I gotta kill him. And they was pretty much like, nah, we could use him. And then she kind of like decompressed and was like, what for? And so that pretty much ended that right there. But then you had Stormfront in the process of Homelander waiting for Stormfront to appear. He got enraged and burnt down his trailer, and then she finally showed back up, and he was pretty much like, hey, I noticed, I went over to the tower where you said you was going, you wasn't there. And she pretty much was like, oh yeah, well, I had to. What, you checking up on me? I had to do something else. So he was enraged, and you don't really pretty much want to make him too mad because he can react and just fry you with his eyes. So he looked at her like, basically like, yo, don't lie to me. So she shows up and she tells him pretty much her backstory, who she was. She was originally with the Nazis, and she was Vought's she was the original Compound V test subject, and Vought showed her everything. They had a kid together. She's really 101 years old. It shows her picture with an older woman somebody thought was her granddaughter. No, somebody thought was her mom, but it was really her daughter. That's how old she is. So she was telling Gas and Homelander like, you're the single best creation. All these test subjects and testing that they did, they finally made something that worked, which was you. And you're going to be able to lead the nation to greater things or whatever. But Homelander, where the problem going to become, what she's looking for is she just want to rule the world. Homelander wants to be liked and loved, and so it bothers him if he's not. So that's like part of his weakness. So I don't think things gonna pan out too well for Stormfront. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it just seems like she's on her way to get destroyed somehow. But that was pretty much the episode. It was a good episode. It's 2 episodes left, so that was episode 6. Still had episode 7 and 8, and we will be tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments if I left anything out or anything that if you like a boys comic head, and some things that might or could happen, leave a comment, let me know. Till next time.